Well, are you ready for some unindoctrination? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, coming to you live from the heartland of America in the spirit of 1776 and with a rebel yell, hell yeah. We've been pushed too far and we are pushing back. We're back, baby, and we are not going anywhere except to the winner's circle. It's a great and an exciting time to be alive. Lit T, nice to see you. It's been a minute. And we're ready to rock and roll. Mr. Acklewell, you're not banned. You're in the chat room. That's proof positive that you're not. A quick word, ladies and gentlemen. You are going to notice if you go to jeffreydaugherty.com, and as we go through these channels, that we are no longer promoting the Phoenix product. That is because I'm trying to streamline what I do. I'm trying to stay within my core competency, and that's not really my wheelhouse. So if you want to get involved with the Phoenix, which I still think is a great product, I invite you to go to jccampbell.com. That's jccampbell.com. Of course, that's Jay Campbell's website. And Jay's sweet spot is physical optimization. So if you want physical optimization, if you want the Phoenix, go to Jay's channel. I think, not positive, but I think that because of the COVID situation, he's also offering discounts on his coaching as far as physical optimization, hormone optimization, diet, etc. goes. And I know from experience that Jay's programs have made a profound difference in my life. And when you're talking about physical optimization, Jay Campbell is one of the leading experts in the world. So go there and get your Phoenix and go there. I don't know if the special's still on, but maybe you can negotiate with that. So that's just a word that I had to say about Jay Campbell. To our almost 46,000 subscribers. I'm not sure why. Well, I kind of hope I'm sure why, but we're exploding in subscribers. We hope that you keep it up. If you're a visitor, please subscribe. If you love me, subscribe because you don't want to miss the next thing. If you hate me, subscribe because you don't know what I'm going to say next. You never know. So anyway, today we're going to get into a subject that is, to me, fascinating. And I think it's a subject that is fascinating to you as well. It's a message of hope, a message of encouragement, and yet a sobering message for the times that we're in. I want to talk about the deep state hijacking of spiritual technology. And this is indeed truth that you won't hear anywhere else. If you ever want to get the shirts that we're on the show, if you're Team Dean, Team Sam, it doesn't matter. You can go to conspiracytees.com or just go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the plastic Jesus. You get a great shirt at a great price and you help us out. And as always, man, focus, life force, energy. It's high consciousness on demand. It helps your food. It helps your plants. It helps your animals. It helps keep you under the spout where that glory's coming out. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference in your life. Go to my site, click on the whoosh. You'll know it when you see it. You get 30 days free, but the heck with that, just buy it. It's fantastic. They're my best sponsor. Well, I got some good ones, but I don't know what I'd do without the Focus Life Force Energy. It's proven its worth. Everybody that I have that sign up always say, man, it's great stuff. And it helps you understand the very deep things that we're talking about. So let's jump right into this, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be powerful. Feel free to ask your questions. And let's see what we've got going on. Imaginary Man says he loves his fluffy Focus Life Force Energy. So the deep state hijacking of spiritual technology. What am I talking about? Well, I've been doing this for 40 years. And one thing I found is that oftentimes and almost every time, really, learning truth requires us to unlearn error. You got to get the garbage out before you can get the good in. And if you have adopted in your life a rigid belief system that gives your life a false sense of security and meaning, then I'm going to be frank with you. This podcast and this channel are probably not for you. The information that we present here can be life-changing. It's always life-changing, but it must be viewed with an open mind. If you're not prepared to put everything you think you know on temporary, at least hold, and open yourself to the possibility that you've been systematically deceived and lied to all your life, then this study and this channel are not for you. You need to have achieved the ability to dare to think for yourself. And the only danger really is that a sleeping person might wake up. And I have to ask you, are you willing to take that risk? And we've got to understand that the most dangerous person is the person that thinks they know it all. And the one you can really learn from is the one that is still learning. You know, I used to be the guy, and I'm going to have a sip of hot coffee. I used to be the guy that had to be, you know, there was a short time I used to be the guy that had to be the smartest guy in the room. But it was a very, very short time for me because I found out that you can be, thank you, Bobby Scott. He says, you've definitely changed my life. May I take exception with you, Bobby? You've changed your life. I just gave you maybe a little namaste nudge, not a push or a shove, just a nudge to go ahead and do that. But I realized that you can be the smartest guy in the room and make sure that everybody knows it, and you'll never learn anything. Or you can be the dumbest guy in the room. And if you're the dumbest guy in the room, which is pretty easy for me, that means that you're learning from everybody. And so that's what I've always tried to do. Since I was 18 years old, I tried to get with people that were smarter than me. And like I said, it's not that hard for me, but it always helps you. And if you ever find yourself having to be the smartest guy or the smartest girl in the room, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm trying to help you. This is real world stuff here. So when you think you know it all, you're about to lose it all. That's just for free. So we've got to unlearn error before we can learn truth. And that's what we're in the midst of doing tonight, is unlearning error. And the thing that I just seen this, it says truth is not always comfortable. Hey, Nigel. In fact, truth is never comfortable. There's nothing remarkable in your comfort zone. Nothing. And if you don't get challenged, you'll never grow. And the problem is, Laura says the one thing she knows for sure is that she doesn't know anything at all. Well, the one thing I know for sure is you can learn more. The problem is our education system. It's it's dialectic. A teacher tells you what's true, you believe it. And everybody wants to be a teacher. So if the teacher tells you what's true, you're not allowed to question the teacher. But true classic education is didactic, meaning I say this is true. And I'm waiting for somebody to say, I don't think that's true. I'm waiting to be challenged. I'm waiting to be questioned, because when someone questions you, that allows you to review what you know, offer rebuttal. And if you can't offer rebuttal, then maybe you don't know what you think you know. Classic learning, classic education is based on debate. It's based on questioning. But we live in a world today where if you question somebody, why are you attacking me? We live in a world of snowflakes. And we can't ever that's why we don't know anything, because we can't allow ourselves to be challenged. Why do you think I'm always asking for people to debate me? Because I want to be challenged. That's the way I learn. And that's the way that we really learn. So when someone questions you, don't feel like you're being attacked. You're not. That's an opportunity for you to learn. Like Nigel said, he's heard this somewhere: ask questions, question answers. And that's what I do. And that's what I encourage you to do, because that's the way to real truth. And truth is never comfortable. And at times, the source from which you learn truth is not always comfortable. Tracy says, don't take it personally. Absolutely. And sometimes you learn stuff from people that you don't want to learn stuff from. I should know that. They can't teach me. Anybody can learn from anybody. You can pick up a nugget of truth almost anywhere if you're willing, So when I discovered the particular truths that we're starting to talk about now, Freedom Grower's offended. When I've discovered the particular truths that I'm talking about now, it was about 10 years ago. And I was very, very uncomfortable with the source of this information. Very uncomfortable. And it was only when I got past my ego. Now, your ego can be good. There's good ego. I couldn't do what I do without a healthy ego. But ego is your amigo as long as it is your faithful servant. Your ego is not your amigo when it's your master. So I allowed my ego to be my amigo, and I allowed myself to see the incredibly practical and the demonstrably effective. This shit works every time you try it. I allowed myself to see that, and I became willing to go public because I knew that it worked and share these life-changing discoveries. And I'm not awake 10 minutes in a day when I don't get people questioning me and really attacking me, saying I'm stupid and ugly and got funny hair. I'm the Antichrist. I'm the devil. I'm a demon. I've heard it all. I really wish somebody would come up with some new stuff because that's really getting old. Jeff, everybody hates you. Yeah, everybody's always hated me. Come on. Is that all you got? Ain't there something new? I'm looking for a new insult. And the thing about it is, I learned this some time back, and this all goes together. Lola Noble, sometimes learning can be painful. But you know what's even more painful? Not learning. If you think learning's painful, try ignorance. Woo! Ric Flair. So I learned that I wish everybody loved me. To know me is to love me. I wish it were true. I really wish that everybody loved me because I like being loved. I do. I like being loved. And love feels good. And love is a powerful, energetic force. Love it. But you can't always be loved. Sometimes you get hated. And if you're me, you get hated a lot. And it used to bug me, but then I realized hate is at least as powerful as love, and sometimes it can be even more powerful. It can be even more powerful. Dietz says this is his favorite channel. Thank you. So what I learned is it's like this. When somebody it's like Cupid. He's shooting arrows at you, love arrows. You love those. Hit me right here. Tracy misses being hated. Oh, I got plenty of hate for you, Tracy. We can spread it around. But guess what? Those other arrows, the hate arrows, they're flaming. And they used to scare me. Oh, flaming arrows. But then I realized an arrow's an arrow. All I got to do is take that hate. The hate is a flaming arrow. I catch it. You can learn. It takes a minute, but you can learn to catch it. But Jeff, it's on fire. I blow it out. Dietz is a gal. I blow it out. And then what do I got? An arrow. It's energy. I put it in my quiver and I use it. So I wish you'd love me, but if you don't love me, can you please hate me? Because I can use both of those. I can't use the indifference. Jeff, he's okay. But there's almost none of that. Either people love me or they hate me. If you don't like it, Patricia, then don't watch. This is my show, and this is the way I run it. You can run Patricia Peeler channel the way you want. If you don't like the way I'm doing this program, then just leave. But I've discovered these truths, and they're not always comfortable, and the sources aren't always comfortable. And I've been doing this for 40 years across the spiritual spectrum, and what I'm talking about tonight is something that is the most profound spiritual technology that I've ever found, and I'm going to share it with you, and they changed my life. And the source is going to be profoundly comfortable for a lot of you, and there's a very good reason for that. The deep state. We're talking about the deep state. The deep state's gone out of its way to marshal all of its nefarious forces to make you uncomfortable about the source of this information. And the source of this transformational spiritual technology is the work, are you ready? It's the work of L. Ron Hubbard. That's right. I'm talking about Dianetics. I'm talking about Scientology. And if you don't like it, leave, because that means you're not ready yet. But the reaction you just had when I said L. Ron Hubbard, the reaction you just had when I said Dianetics, the reaction you just had when I said Scientology, that's been programmed into your mind for at least 25 years. And you're acting like Pavlov's dog. Ring the bell, ding, dog salivates. I was on a date with a girl one time. And I said, what do you think about philosophy? And she said, oh, I'm all about Plato's dog. And I was like, check, please. And she was hot, but come on, man. Plato's dog, really? Ask yourself, why would the deep state expend so much effort to discredit L. Ron Hubbard, to discredit Dianetics, and to discredit Scientology? Ask yourself that. Think about that. Because the U.S. deep state, at least the U.S. deep state, because we got to remember, folks, the deep state is not just in the United States of America. The deep state's not just in the Democrat Party. I wish it were, but it's not. The deep state is also in the Republican Party. If you don't believe me, look up Mitt Romney. The deep state is not just the Democrats, and the deep state is not just the United States of America, but the U.S. deep state at least, and the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, and its forerunner, the Office of Strategic Services, launched a massive media smear campaign on Dianetics, on Scientology, on L. Ron Hubbard, beginning in 1949, 1950. Why? Why would they go to all the trouble to launch? You know who runs the media. You know who runs Hollywood. And they're bashing these things. Why? In 1972, they kidnapped L. Ron Hubbard. The U.S. deep state kidnapped L. Ron Hubbard and literally physically took control of the Church of Scientology. And for the next 16 years, they systematically hijacked all of LRH technology, stripped it of its efficacy, that means the stuff that makes it work, and left only a system of fear, guilt, and control, and a very expensive one at that. And I need to say that I'm taking a lot of this from this book by Andreas M.B. Gross. And we're going to talk about where you can get these books. Andreas M.B. Gross. It's called Scientology, Rescued from the Claws of the Deep State. And of course, from the works of L. Ron Hubbard. So, why did they do it? Why did they do it? There's two reasons why they did it. Number one, they wanted to keep the incredible technology for themselves. What incredible technology? It heals everybody that tries it, and the best, the original, the first, the best, and still the best remote viewers are all Dianetic clear Scientology operating thetans, period. That's why they wanted, number one, to get it so they could keep it for themselves. And number two, they wanted to keep that technology away from we, the people, to keep us from having and using the tech to better ourselves and to better our fellow man. Somebody asked me earlier today, are you a Scientologist? Well, it depends upon how you define it. LRH defined a Scientologist as a person that wants to use the technology to better themselves and their fellow man. By that definition, yes. Am I a member of the Church of Scientology? Not only no, but hell no, and I never will be. It's just another fear and guilt control matrix. And that's part of what we're talking about tonight. But I can't get you to thinking about using Dianetic and Scientology, spiritual technology, to transform your life until I can get the error out of your mind that's been programmed into it for 25 years. And having helped tens of thousands of people free themselves from the clutches of the Christian fear and guilt control matrix, that's what I've been doing. My goal is now to give those very same people that I've helped get free from the Christian fear and guilt control matrix. I always ask, well, Jeff, thank you for getting me out of Christianity, but where do I go now? What do I do? I need to get better. I need to get stronger. I need to get faster. I need to be more, I need to be who I am. Well, my goal now is to give you what you've been demanding from me. A workable spiritual technology that'll help you become fully divine, fully sovereign, fully free, and allow you to create yourself and live a life that you love. And in 40 years of study, over 100,000 hours just in the biblical scriptures, it's got to be 125 plus if we add all of the spiritual study. Ask Cynthia, 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day I'm doing this. This is the most profound way I've ever found. But I've got to help you unlearn error so you can embrace truth wholeheartedly, because this work is not conducive to the dabbler. You can't dabble. You can't dabble. Now, Daniel makes an important statement. He says, Church of Scientology is a cult. Yes, it is, but Dianetics and Scientology are not cultish. Stay with me. I have to help you unlearn the error, because this won't work for you if you're a dabbler. You've got to be all in, or at least be all open to get anything out of it. And you'll either decide if it's for you or not for you, but you won't be able to make a rational decision unless you know all the information. So we're trying to sweep away the doubts and give you at least a fresh slate from which to work. So why won't my dealio work? I'm having trouble with my cursor. There it is. I'm not asking you to believe, because Dianetics and Scientology are not about faith. They're not a religion. And let me tell you this. You got to do Dianetics first. We're trying to remove the stigma. That's right. And Dianetics, everything you need to have a completely, perfectly functioning mind, intellect, body, everything you need to be a Dianetic clear, which is to be in the top 2% of all humanity. Everything you need, you can taste, touch, see, feel, or hear. It has only to do with this, your sensory. There's no woo-woo, no hypnotism, no angels, no demons, no gods, none of that woo-woo. It's just real world stuff. And I'm going to ask you to journey with me and uncover the truths about this technology with verifiable facts so the lies can pass and the suppression of this great technology can be overcome. And Scientology is the science of certainty. And it's most helpful to have certainty about the takeover by the deep state so we can reverse it and make this truth available to anybody that would seek to use it to better themselves and to better their fellow man. And to better yourself and to better your fellow man is the only acceptable reason for using this great spiritual technology. It's the only acceptable reason for using this great spiritual technology. And folks, I'm here tonight to tell you that we are at an exciting turning point in the history of humanity. Who's we? The entire human race on earth today. You hear me say it all the time. We are the last generation of real humans, and today we stand on the brink of victory. I know I'm the only guy out here saying that. Everybody else is saying how bad it's going to get. Everybody else is saying how we're not going to have anything to eat. We're not going to have any place to live. We're going to be overtaken by this. We're going to be overtaken by that. It's tribulation. It's the mark of the beast. It's chopping heads. It's doom, 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 gloom, 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 and then doom, and then gloom, and then some gloom, and then some doom. That's not true. That's not true. We stand on the brink of victory today. And for the last 2,000 years, I'll admit it, mankind has been circling the drain. We've been spiraling downward towards a horrific crash and a catastrophic end. And it's only very recently that it began to turn around, since 2016. And it's really picking up pace right here in 2020. If you don't like good news, you might as well leave now, because I got a lot of good news for you. Our trajectory is turning up now. Mankind is starting to stir from our sleep. For a long time, man, it looked like 1984 in the Matrix would be our destiny. We'd be batteries. High-tech mind control, which is black Dianetics. Chemtrails, 5G, vaccinations, fake news, censored social media. It looked like we were going down for the count, folks. And even the answer to this problem had been subverted and perverted to try to make sure that we're no more supermen and superwomen. Everybody listening to the sound of my voice can be a Superman. Everybody listening to the sound of my voice can be a superwoman. You can do superhuman things while you're right here. I'm not talking about something pie in the sky and the sweet by and by after you die. I'm talking about while you're down here on the ground, still around, cousin. Johnny says, who's going to stop the globalists and their agenda? Johnny Owen's going to stop them. You know, the Bible says we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, Jeff. That's because the Bible's trying to keep you trapped. They don't want you to know that you got to wrestle against flesh and blood. Our problem right now is not demons. Our problem right now is not fallen angels. Our problem right now is not spiritual. It's not a spiritual battle. We wrestle against flesh and blood. Human wickedness in high places. Go back a week or two ago. I did the show and proved it to you from the script. You call the scripture. I know, Johnny. We do wrestle against flesh and blood. The church doesn't want you to wrestle against flesh and blood because they don't want you to win. Think about that. Many of us are waking up, including the professionals among us in the United States military and in the Secret Service. They woke up and they saw the coup being carried out against the Constitution. They woke up during those 8 years of Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Obama, married to Big Mike. They woke up and saw America about to go down for the count. And they formulated a plan to take action against the cabal forces that were instigating it. Now, do you know, I'm about to blow your mind, L. Ron Hubbard wrote about this before 1972. He said we needed to build a wall of fire. He himself employed several professional intelligence agents with lots of experience to look into what he was having a feeling might be happening. And the investigation identified that we had a specific enemy on this planet, a specific enemy on this planet. LRH, L. Ron Hubbard, LRH, saw that the enemy numbered less than 12 men. Man, he was close. Looking back now to pre-1972 with our current knowledge, we see it's not actually 12 men, it's 13 families. He was so close. And listen to what else he had to say about this. He wrote that they were members of the Bank of England and controlled most all the high financial circles. He said they owned and controlled all newspapers, media, and Hollywood, and they were the leaders in the push towards psychiatric therapy. You got to think a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Who controls all the high financial circles? Who owns and controls almost all newspapers, media, and Hollywood? Who are the leaders in psychiatry? The limbs, the Limish. And this blew my mind when I found this out today. He also discerned that they had, and this is a quote, sometime in the rather distant past, they had determined a specific course of action. He's talking about something I'm going to show you real fast, only real fast. And you got to watch. I'm going to show you this just real fast. This is what he was talking about. You see it? Boom. It's gone. I didn't know that he knew. Wow. He was letting us know stuff that nobody knew back then. He also knew they were in control of most of the gold on the planet and would bring every government to bankruptcy, and that leaders would ask them permission before making any political moves. He knew that they would use mental health, psychiatric shock therapy, etc., vaccines, masks, to control politica, that's political, dissenters. Before 1972, he wrote all this down. And he said this group would have every government of the world in debt to them via central banking. L. Ron Hubbard, the one that they say is stupid, and the one they say was stealing, and the one they say is blah, blah, blah. Why do you think they go out of their way to say these things about these people? He foresaw the 13 cabal families using fiat currency, mass media, Hollywood. Why do you think in 1969 he opened the Celebrity Center in LA? What was it specifically for? Trying to get the rich and famous Hollywood types into his Dianetic and Scientology technology because he wanted to make a bunch of money. Come on, man, really? He did it because he saw that this was one of the controlling paradigms of the whole world. And if you want to defeat a paradigm, what do? You try to infiltrate it, and you can infiltrate in a positive way. Let's see what we can do to get these people in Hollywood to come in and get a little Dianetics, a little Scientology, see if we can change some lives. That's why they started the Celebrity Center in 1969. And it's also about corrupt politicians and pedophilia networks. L. Ron Hubbard talked about this pre-1972. You know what? If LRH were still alive today, we might think he was Q. And you know, I thought about that. We got Q now, right? It's just one letter, Q, telling us all this. And back, we had a guy named LRH, 3 letters, telling us this. I see a little connection. Maybe I'm a little conspiratorial, but I see a little connection. We all know who LRH was talking about. Let's get back to the White Hats. They formed a secret network of alliances within the military, within the Secret Service, planning to break the power of the cabal. And they could have just marched in and threw Barry out of the office. They could have arrested him. They could have had a coup, but they didn't want to have a bloody coup. What they wanted to do was find somebody that could be president of the United States who would legally empower them to start this great cleanup. So what they did is they went and they recruited Donald J. Trump. They convinced him to run for president. They guaranteed a clean election. Didn't guarantee he'd win, but they guaranteed a clean election. And they guaranteed protection for him. They guaranteed for protection for his family. And it worked. Trump got elected. Amazing. Vote Trump 2020, please. Give me 4 more years to change the world. Yeah. And the president of the United States, Donald Trump, began by instigating, you remember L. Ron Hubbard, Wall of Fire? Donald Trump comes in with Fire and Hire. Do you think there's any kind of a connection there? Come on now. So he started Fire and Hire. What's Fire and Hire? Fire and Hire is cleaning out the U.S. judiciary, cleaning out the Department of Justice, cleaning out the FBI, cleaning out the CIA, draining the swamp. And it's a necessary prerequisite. You got 150,000 sealed indictments. And I know many of you Tinos, that's a truth or a name only. Many of you Tinos, you whine, you cry, you moan, you groan. Nothing's been done yet. You lack the ability and or the patience to understand that this isn't just a punishment of a few criminals. I'd like to see Obama go to jail. I'd like to see Hillary get perp walked. But this is not about Obama. It's not about Hillary. It's not about taking down a few criminals. It's not about locking up a few corrupt people. This is a complete disempowerment of the New World Order. And it does no good to arrest people if you've got a dirty judiciary who's going to let them go. It does no good to lock Hillary up if she posts bail and is gone the next morning. It does no good. You got to clean out the judiciary. You got to clean out the Justice Department. You got to clean out the FBI. You got to clean out the CIA. And it's amazing he's been able to do it in 3.5 years. They've confirmed more judges than anybody else, and they can't get half of them confirmed because the Democrats said, oh, shit, he's making a noose. We got to stop. Folks, this is not about criminals. It's not about corrupt people. This is about a complete disempowerment of the New World Order. We are on the brink of a brand new civilization. That's good news. Forget about the doomers. Forget about the gloomers. Forget about the whiners. We're about to have a party. Humanity is at the brink of a brand new civilization, ladies and gentlemen. We can recover from our slavery. We can recover from our exploitation. We can recover from our oppression and finally flourish and prosper. That's an LRH thing, flourishing and prosper. You know what? Some of you just want to make it to the next paycheck. I understand. That's where we're at right now. But you're better than that. We're better than that. We're not supposed to have too much month at the end of the money. We're not supposed to be working 40, 50, 60 hours a week at a job we hate with people we don't like, building somebody else's dream. We're supposed to be living our own great basic purpose. We're supposed to be flourishing. We're supposed to be prospering. Somebody's going to get mad at me, but I was working in sales, making over 6 figures. Way over, but that's not neither here nor there. But I wasn't flourishing. I wasn't prospering. Yeah, I had a lot of stuff. Yeah, I made a lot of money. Yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't what I was here for. So what did I do? 3 years ago, I quit. I don't know if I recommend that, but I moved out of the big house in Lake Tahoe. I sold the Land Rover, gave all the furniture to my daughter who just got married, moved into a freaking trailer, rode a bicycle, and worked part-time from home doing YouTube. Man, I knew exactly what was on the value meal at McDonald's. I know I shouldn't have been eating it, but I was broke. And when you are broke, McDonald's tastes good. I was on that low-income diet. It's hard to cheat. I knew that you could go to Walmart if you got there early in the morning, and they'd have like 50 hot dogs for like $3, but you had to go early because people are going to grab them. Man, I could get 50 hot dogs. I could get me a few things of buns and some ketchup. Woo! I could eat for a long time on that. It's less than $10. Ride my bike up there, put that shit in my backpack, ride home, make some YouTube videos. Was it fun? No. Yes. I was more, I'm closing deals, paychecks, 44,000, 50,000, 60,000, and that's a week. But I wasn't happy, man. I wasn't flourishing. I wasn't prospering. I wasn't doing my great basic purpose. I'm living in that shitty trailer, riding a bike, so broke I got to crawl on top of a nickel to see the top of a dime, and I was as happy as I've ever been. And here I am now, demonetized. I'd love for you guys to support this channel. We are demonetized. You can see the PayPal address in the box below. If you want to help a brother out, please do. I'm demonetized. But we got Miss Tech helping. We got Focus Life Force Energy helping. We got C60 Purple Power helping. When you guys buy this stuff, it helps you and it helps me. Did I mention I was demonetized? And, you know, Mistech, I wear it every day of my life. I never take it off. And it does optimize me physically, mentally, and spiritually. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com. Click on that big M logo that you see there. And you get a 20% discount. It's the only way. And this stuff, look at the videos. Blood clogged and slow with pathogens in it. 2 hours with Mistech on. Moving clear. No pathogens. Boom. Same thing with your energetic body. It's proof. Same thing with the EMFs. It's proof. And you know, Chick Popeye, I rode that bike for a year, man. I didn't have a car for a year. Didn't have many dates either, obviously. I didn't have a car for a year. And then I moved up to a motorcycle. And it was 2 years without a car. 2 years in a shitty trailer. I mean, the trailer wasn't much bigger than this room. But it transformed my life. I was flourishing and I was prospering in that trailer. I was flourishing and I was prospering riding that bus. I was flourishing and I was prospering riding that bicycle. I was flourishing and I was prospering on that 650 Yamaha. I was flourishing and prospering, broke as shit, living the dream. And now it's better. And it's going to be even better, folks. That's what I'm talking about. Flourishing and prospering. And the one thing you've got to remember, I know a lot of you, you're good people. You want the church to be true. You want plastic Jesus to be real. You want somebody to pray to. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, the difference between prayer and manifestation. That's so important. But you got to remember the churches have been complicit with the deep state in its efforts against not only Scientology, but other methods of spiritual empowerment, because it's the priests and the pastors and the psychiatrists that are the natural enemies of true enlightenment and empowerment. Never forget that. Finally, my mom gave me a PT Cruiser. That was after a long time. She bought a new car. She's like, I feel bad for you. Here's a car. No, actually, there's a story. If you remember back in the old days, I had the long hair and the beard. And my mom kept saying, please cut your hair. Please cut your hair. Nope, nope, nope. Finally, she said, if you cut your hair and shave off that beard, I'll give you $500 and a PT Cruiser. I thought for a minute and said, sold. And she made me get the damn haircut first. I shaved, got a haircut, took the bus to my mom's, and drove home in a PT Cruiser. I was a happy mofo in that PT Cruiser. I know you called a PT loser. It was the prettiest car I've ever seen. Never forget that the church has been complicit. Now we're free to learn the reality of the suppression of real Dianetics and real Scientology, and to see if this spiritual technology can help you or can help you help your fellow man. We are divine, we are sovereign, we are free, and now we've got choices to do what we can to stay that way. Love that PT Cruiser. Gave the damn thing to Sandra. Do you believe that? That was a dumb move. Sometimes you're just too nice. But that's water under the bridge. Sorry. And by the way, Alex Jones did not coin the term prison planet. LRH did. And again, this is pre-1972. He spoke a lot about the prison planet. And do you know that his science fiction showed the truth through literature? And by the way, Alex Jones's use of prison planet shows you that he knows Dianetics, by the way. LRH wrote, and the problem is this. This is so insightful. The character of this planet and the population hereon makes it practically impossible to do anything with this planet. Look around you. How many of these poor, demented, deluded individuals got masks on? And how many of these poor, demented, deluded individuals, and they're not demons. It's got nothing to do with demons. It's people, humans, flesh and blood. Some of them are burning down Walmart. The other of them are grabbing shoes from Walmart. Come on, man. What's wrong with a planet where they got masks on and they're stealing and looting stores and it's okay? What's wrong with that kind of planet? What's wrong with a planet where most of them believe CNN and most of them believe a church? Come on, man. What's wrong with this planet? What he meant was it's hard to do anything with this planet in its currently aberrated state. And aberrated means, we'll tell you what it means, but it means a gap in your life track that keeps you psychosomatically sick or keeps you manifesting things that you don't mean to manifest. He knew his work wasn't going to be easy to accept, and I so identify with this because I am so tempted. I remember when I was with Sandra, her ex, the husband of the father of her child, and I became super close friends. I know it's weird, and that was the end of the relationship with her, but we're still close friends. And he was a Christian. He just became a Christian. Jeff, if you'll just be a little bit easier on Christianity, just be a little bit nicer, I'll give you $100,000 to do this. Just calm down a little bit. Just be a little nicer. Can you just be a little gentler, a little kinder, a little softer? And I said, no, I can't. I wish I could. I tried it for a minute. Do you remember when I went from Christian Whistleblower to New Cosmic Knowledge? You remember that? And we tried to be kinder and gentler for a minute. It didn't work. And that shit was boring. And LRH said this, and I say this. Man, I don't see any point in lying to get acceptance. That's what he said. That's what I say. It just doesn't seem to be the right way to go in regards to spiritual technology. I realized I just busted my give a damn, man. And I mean this in the nice, I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you believe what I say. Because there's like 7-8 million of you out there, and we're getting close to 10 million views. And if 99% of you don't like me, it only takes 1% to make a huge difference in this world. So I'm not going to water it down to get a bigger channel. I'm not going to lie to get accepted. I'm not going to be nicer and gentler. Do I wish I had $100,000? Yes. But it goes back. I had $100,000 and more before I started this. It's just not worth it. And that's when you'll know that you found your great basic purpose. That's when you know you found your great basic purpose. When you won't take $100,000. He had his checkbook out. When you won't take $100,000 to change what you're doing, you know you found your great basic purpose. You know you found your great basic purpose. And the best way to hide your overts, Ron says, and what's an overt? You never ever go past a word that you don't understand. And just to show you that I'm a product of the product, I don't say this stuff. What do I got right here? I got the abridged Scientology dictionary. And I didn't know what he meant by an overt. I've read the 18 basic books, but I forgot about it. So I looked up overt in the dictionary. And overt says harmful or contra survival acts. That means, how do you hide people or keep people and hide things that are contra to people's survival? You give them amnesia. You give them amnesia. Who was it that wrote the book, Species with Amnesia? Was that Seifer? Anyway, it was a good book. I read it. It's around here somewhere. You give them amnesia. Then they don't know what you've done to them, and then you tell them something else has happened. You see how that works? Give them amnesia. They don't know what you've done to them, and then you tell them that something else has happened. It's called colloquially peeing on them and tell them it's raining. Some of y'all are kinky as hell. You're getting peed on and you like it. I don't understand. The example is of a very craven intelligence. The person that does this is a very craven intelligence. And this is what's going on here on this planet. And this is LRH saying. The point is their ideal is the conformist. So they specialize in the fellow that's willing to conform. This is the fellow willing to be a worker, draw a wage, and not do another single blessed thing. He's comfortable with his lot. He never desires to improve. Some of you, that's too close to home. Are you willing to do something about it? And this leaves, you got everybody that's just compliant. The mask wearers, the people that say, okay, I'll stay home. The people that are just compliant, they go along with the program. And then there's other people that won't go along with the program. And the problem is, it's the brilliant, the genius, and the perverts and criminals. So they all get grouped together. If we won't go along with the plan, there's only people that won't go along with the plan is us, the Rams, and then the bad guys. And it's a brilliant explanation of the God of the Bible. What does the God of the Bible want you to do? He makes you forget who you are. He tells you you're born with original sin when you really got the spark of divinity within. And then tells you that you need to come on bended knee for a Savior to get salvation so he can save you from what he gave you. That's a craven intelligence. That's the God of the Bible. That's the masters of the cabal, and that's probably redundant. You don't know what that means, look it up. So here's what they do. They condemn the nonconformist to perpetual amnesia. You've forgotten who you are. You forgot that you are divine. You forgot you're sovereign. You forgot you're free. You forgot that you are a superhuman individual. You forgot that you can be 3 feet behind your head at will. You forgot that you could leave this body, go anywhere, see anything, do anything you want. You forgot that. You forgot that you can be healed from every bit of sickness, every bit of mental derangement. You forgot all that. And their job is to keep you in amnesia. My job is to slap the shit out of you. Some of you will wake up and some of you will just whine and cry and complain that Jeff attacked me. Frankly, I don't care. I'm looking for the people that will take a namaste nudge and say, thank you very much. I needed that. Remember the old Aquavella? Thanks, I needed that. Sometimes you need to get slapped because your head's not straight. Cynthia's had to slap me once since I've been here 2 years. And I needed it to be slapped. Sometimes, Alan says, sometimes you got to slap stupid. I mean, you do. You got to slap stupid sometimes. And that's the only way to get stupid out sometimes is to slap it. It really is. C60 Purple Power helps, though, because it gets rid of those heavy metals. It's the best antioxidant on the planet, and it will literally help you do what you do better. C60 Purple Power helps you fulfill your great basic purpose. It helps you flourish. It helps you prosper. And if you believe Cliff High, he and his wife are alive today because of that. Go to c60purplepower.com, use the code TCW10, or just go to Jeff's site, jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the logo, the discounts built in. Yeah, every now and then you need a little namaste nudge. Not a push, not a shove, just a namaste nudge. I did get challenged to a fight today. It's the second time it's happened. Do you believe lovable me? Somebody actually says, let's fight. Supposed to be high consciousness, supposed to be what said, let's fight. Come on, man. They condemn the nonconformist to perpetual amnesia. Dead forever is what they call it. You see, there's a problem trying to kill a thetan. I'll tell you what that means in a minute. Well, I'll tell you what it means right now. And the thing that hit me was he said they call it dead forever. And that reminded me of the verse in the script that says, Twice dead, plucked up by the roots. It's in Jude. So, man, LRH knew his shit, man. But he said there's a problem trying to kill a thetan. What is a thetan? It's such a great word because you have this argument about soul, spirit, spirit, soul. I'm a soul, I'm a spirit. You're a spirit, you're a soul. No, it doesn't mean that. The soul is us. Even the script says the soul that sins, it will die. The sin is this, right? Or the soul is this right here. This meat suit that you're in is a soul. The thing that drives this meat suit is a spirit, but we don't want to get that confusion. It's a thetan, a thetan. It's easy. You can't kill a thetan. That's the problem. You can't kill a thetan because we're energy, we're divine, we're sovereign, we're free. You can't kill a thetan. A thetan, a thetan. But that sounds like Satan, Jeff. Grow up. You can't kill a thetan. So what do? You wrap him up in mothballs. You ship him down here to this prison planet. And this is the population of the planet. He said that in August of 1963. But I see hope in that. If we're here, we've been shipped down here. So that means we're thetans, and that means we're divine, we're sovereign, we're free. And that means if we climb up out of these mothballs and get our shit together, we can change ourselves. And if we can change ourselves, we can change the planet. Why you want to be twice dead and plucked up by the roots when you can be divine, you can be sovereign, you can be free? Folks, this is a jailbreak. I'm advocating a jailbreak. And what did you expect? You know we're in a prison. You know it's a prison planet. Did you think that we could just come up with a means and a plan to escape and the guards would just stand by and wave as we left? Do you really think you could come up with a spiritual technology that's the most profound thing I've seen in 40 years and nobody's going to fight it? Of course not. We got to fight for our freedom, and we've got to fight against flesh and blood. Demons got nothing to do with it. Angels got nothing to do with it. Avatars got nothing to do with it. Spirit guides got nothing to do with it. Ascended Masters got nothing to do with it. We're on this earth, and we've got to fight flesh and blood, humans in wickedness in high places. It's humans we got to fight. That's why we're still here getting our asses handed to us every day, because we think it's about angels and demons, and we got to start fighting wicked humans, or we're going to keep getting our asses kicked until we do. 1776 rebel yelled, hell yeah. We have the privilege of following other freedom fighters that have made progress against tyranny. And the good news is those 13 families no longer rule as nobles. They're not kings and queens anymore. But they do remain as masters of the simulations of democracy with the interchangeable political puppets. And that's why they hate our president so much. That's why they hate Donald Trump so much. Now we mainly face subterfuge. We mainly face infiltration. We mainly face falsification. This is what's befallen Dynamics and Scientology. And this is our great chance, ladies and gentlemen. This is our great chance because large numbers of people are now waking up. We're becoming alive and we're becoming sentient to the tactics of the deep state. And we're becoming sentient finally after all this work that I've done. And I want to say it's not me, but who else has been telling this story that what I've been telling for 3 years hasn't been told in 2,000 years. The truth about the Christian fear and guilt control matrix. And I've got to say it again. How do I know, Jeff, if I'm in the Christian fear and guilt control matrix? One word, blood. Blood. If you got anything to do with blood, you're bound. Ooh, write that down, Cynthia. If you got anything to do with blood, you're bound. You're supposed to be divine, sovereign, and free. What's blood got to do with divinity? What's blood got to do with sovereignty? What's blood got to do with freedom? Blood is base. Blood is low. Blood is dense. But I'm saved by the blood. Then you're not saved. You're lost. But my Savior hung on the old rugged cross. No, he didn't. Anything to do with blood, salvation, cross, Savior, advocate, pick up your cross, under the blood, covered by the blood, salvation. If you have anything to do with that, you're still lost as shit and you're coming back and you're going to run out of chances. Atonement. Thank you, Tracy. You're going to run out of chances. Jesus, Yeshua, all that shit's got to go. Or you're coming back. You're coming back. And I preached it for 20 years. I'm a Bible college graduate, 20 years a minister. And we've got the cabal in the defense. Antifa, BLM, those are great examples. Just like the many and sundry prophetic doom and gloomers all over YouTube. We've got them on the run. It's the last great act of defiance. They know that it's over. We've already won. There's only one timeline left, and it's our victory. They're trying like hell to make another one, but there's only one left. And now that the idols are falling, the enlightened are going to look for real answers. The subversion known, we can now offer Dianetics, offer Scientology to help any man or woman that wants a proven path to create yourself and live the life you'll love. And once you truly create yourself, that's the first dynamic, self, survive. Then you want to help your family. That's the second dynamic. Then you want to help your neighbor. That's the third dynamic. Then you want to help your race. That's the fourth dynamic. Then you want to help the entire planet universe. That's the fifth dynamic. We're on the brink of a new beginning across all dynamics. And it's a great privilege to be in the last generation of real humans. The deep state hijacking of spiritual technology, now you know about it. Now you know there's good stuff. Shane says blood is red, which is the lowest, most dense color or visible frequency. That's powerful. Now you know it. It's up to you. You won't hear this truth anywhere else. And thanks again to Andreas M.B. Gross and L. Ron Hubbard. Daniel, they are addicted to the blood because they are adrenochrome addicts. You don't have to be drinking the blood yourself. He drinks it, your God. He gets it, and he gives you the anointing. That's adrenochrome addiction, and you're hooked. You're hooked. That's another long show. I don't mean to make them so long. But I respect you for being here. I respect you for listening to me for an hour. The least I can do is go back in the chat. It won't take me back to the beginning, but I'll go back to what I can see. And that's Laura saying, the one thing I know for sure is that I don't know anything. There is thinking you know it all, and there's knowing you know it all. Tracy says truth is like sandpaper. It does get a little rough. It'll rub you raw. You should question everything, says Johnny O, and he's right. Remember, Nigel said ask questions and question answers. Tracy says don't take it personally. Asking question and questioning the answers makes it fun. It does. That's when you know that you love learning. I found knowing and understanding are really not the same. I think knowing and yeah, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from. We're starting from scratch. I wish we could all get back to scratch. That's a great place to start from. That's a great place to start from. Sometimes learning can be painful, says Lola. I think most times it can be painful. Cognitive dissonance manifests in violent ways. That's true. That's really true. That's really true. Nigel hates Tracy. Dietz is a girl. Remember that. Tracy. Johnny, if you don't like it, you can leave as well. Oh, boy. You should go back and watch the previous show on Dianetics. You really should. Gemini was reading LRH's book as a teenager back in the 70s. Her grandmother trashed it. I got the Satan lecture. That's awesome. That's awesome. If the deep state didn't want us to know, we wouldn't know. I don't know about that, Jamie. I don't disagree with you often, but the deep state doesn't want us to know any of the stuff we know. They're losing control. That's the good. Because see, back when it was just the Catholic Church, there was no printing press. Up until the 1500s, it was easy. We didn't know. But now we know. Who's the deep state? I've got a video on that. Who are they? Go watch the video. It's the Sanhedrin. There's a time and a place. Yes, there is. Jeff, you don't know how right you are. Thank you, Johnny. Doom Slayer 2:30 in England listening to this. I salute you for being here and doing that. Let's see. From MAGA Trump to Mega Trump, making Earth great again. I like it. I like it. Boom. The life we have been sold is a lie. We were never free. Oh, it's my old friend Colin Matthews. Come on, brah. If you have never been free, and if you're not free right now, I'll tell you whose fault it is. It's Colin Matthews' fault. It's up to you, bro. Look yourself in the mirror. Give yourself a slap, maybe two, and get yourself free. And it's like the old song says, free your mind and your ass will follow. You got to free that mind up, brah. Thank you, John. He says, I'm the man. Let's see. Jamie gives me a thumbs up. More help on the way, says Johnny. Beautiful. Thank you. Chick Pot Pie rides a scooter. Ain't nothing wrong with the scooter. Ride that bitch proud. Abandon all varieties of religion and remember how God made us to breathe on earth. I like that. I like that. Programmed by the flat screen and the fear matrix. Yep. Jeff, don't do it ever. I don't know what that was, but I won't. Battlefield Earth was a prison planet. We're talking about Hubbard fiction, and that was a cool series of books. Sometimes you got to jolt people out of their deep slumber. Sometimes you got to try anyway. That's why when I'm being an asshole, I'm trying to jolt somebody out of their deep slumber. It doesn't always work, but it works a lot more than you think it works. Got in trouble for not wearing a mask. I won't ever go there again. Perfect. Slapping stupid. Let's see. President Trump's about to clear the 90 chessboard. Yes, he is. What else we got? Drop the key, Lee, and get yourself free. Hell yeah. Get on the bus, Gus. You don't need to discuss much. Yeah, I remember that song. It's a great song. Great show again, Jeff. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel's got his rebel yell on. Hell yeah, brah. Hell yeah, brah. Deprogram and reprogram. It's painful but effective. The only way out is through. Well, folks, we've come to the end of another session of podcast excellence. I'm the mailman. I bring you the mail. I put it in your box. And guess what? You got mail. It's up to you what you do with it. For Tracy Dyer and other great moderators, I salute you for being here. For the lovely Cynthia, we send our deep appreciation, real, true deep appreciation and highest hopes for you. We've been demonetized. If you want to help a brother out, I welcome it. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it, a thumbs down if you hated it. What's the Richie guy say? Subscribe or not. It's up to you guys. But just like the old saying, through rain, snow, sleet, dark and night, nothing will keep me from my appointed rounds. I remain your humble mailman. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, reminding you you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free, and encouraging you to unindoctrinate yourself. And then, once you're unindoctrinated, then you can create yourself and build the life you'll love. See you next time. Let's get busy.